Okay, bros. We're here for your weekly NXT Fix, featuring the ever so popular Bro Ratings. Now, here's your host. Okay, bros. I'm your host, Jimmy the Gibson, and on Thursdays, we wear yellow. And what you gonna do when it's still a little chilly in March and you gotta wear this Hulkamania zippy and it runs wild on you, brothers? We are ramping up to WrestleMania weekend. And now it's WrestleMania week because it's announced a 2-night NXT takeover on the Wednesday and Thursday before WrestleMania. Mind-blowing, bros. So let's hear about what happened on this week's NXT Fix. Speaking of takeover, this was like a takeover. This was like a mini preview takeover. Awesome action this week, bros. It started off, GM William Regal, major announcement. And he says, it's time we introduce the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship belts because of what happened in the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship belts. So NXT has their own Women's Tag Team Championship belts. And William Regal declared that Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are the first ever champions. But all good champions must have challengers, and tonight on NXT, they will be facing Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon in a rematch of the Women's Dusty Cup Finals. Great stuff, major announcement. And bros, we're going to have to give that one a 7.5 on the Bro Ratings. Moving on from that in-ring segment, we go right into a championship match. That's right. We're talking NXT Women's Championship. Io Shirai defending the title against Toni Storm. And we got NXT's resident rock star. It's Toni time. Toni Storm versus the Genius of the Sky. We are coming up just a few months away from possibly 1 year, Io Shirai holding this women's title. She's fantastic. Toni's great. And once again, they delivered. Toni hit Storm Zero twice. Io Shirai kicked out twice. Io Shirai goes for the moonsault, misses. Toni Storm goes for a diving headbutt, misses. Io Shirai puts on the crossface. Toni taps. Io Shirai's your winner. Fantastic NXT Women's Championship match. Bros, we're going to give this one a 9.1 on the Bro Ratings. Moving on, we had a little backstage interview. Mackenzie Mitchell interviewing L.A. Knight. You kind of have to do that finger point. I mean, the guy brings it on himself. That's his thing. He does the point. Well, L.A. Knight says next week will be his in-ring debut. And anyone who's ready to step up will find out all about him. And that's just a fact of life. I like the guy. Good character. I mean, swagger through the roof. And the guy can talk. Can he also deliver in the ring? Well, let's find out. He gets attacked backstage, or a little tuffle, if you will, by none other than Bronson Reed, who he cost the match last week against Cameron Grimes. So, will we see Bronson Reed versus L.A. Knight? Maybe not next week, but take over. We then had our next contest, Jake Atlas versus Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne, accompanied by Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, put on a decent match with Jake Atlas. Jake Atlas did not get too much offense in. It's kind of a glorified squash match here. He did get a little bit, not quite enough. Pete Dunne in the end. Too much for Jake Atlas. Snapping the fingers of Jake Atlas. And then puts him in an armbar. Atlas taps out. Submission. Pete Dunne is your winner. We're going to give this match a 7.6 on the bro ratings. Pete Dunne at the end says, I need some competition. Who's going to step up to me? So look for a major matchup against Pete Dunne at this upcoming TakeOver. Then we see Imperium says, hey, we have room for Timothy Thatcher to join us. And you know what? We'll even make room for your partner, Ciampa. Your friend can join us too. What's going on there? I like it. Then, our next contest was none other than the newly appointed NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez versus Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. And this was stupendous. These four women put it all out there on the line. When Shotzi got that hot tag, she was hitting moves like crazy. Scorpion kicks and dives and flips. Ember Moon goes for the Eclipse on Raquel, but Raquel blocks it and just picks her up. Powerbomb position. Shotzi does a crazy dive to the outside, taking out Dakota. I think Ember Moon was lifting up the ropes, so she dove through the ropes, through Ember's leg to the outside. That was craziness. Then, Shotzi knocks Dakota into Raquel, who has Ember in a powerbomb position. They fall over, flip over the ropes to the outside, and Shotzi does an amazing roll-up where she's like doing a bridge, pins Dakota Kai, 1, 2, 3. Your winners and new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. Congratulations, well-deserved. Both of these women's teams are each Women's Tag Team Champions. So good for both of them and good for NXT for really showcasing this women's division that's on fire right now. So with that being said, bros, we're going to give this match a 9.3 on the bro ratings. Wow, good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, check out this 1-minute figure review. Okay, bros. Went golfing today, but we still bring you the 1-minute figure review. This week is none other than Ember Moon, Elite figure, NXT TakeOver. Now, this is Ember Moon showing that she made her NXT debut on June 8th, 2013. Let's take a look at that close-up. See, she's got the entrance gear with the mask. I mean, just an unbelievably nice-looking NXT TakeOver Elite figure, Ember Moon. Actually, currently her only figure to date. Since she made her return in NXT this year, or last year, I think we need an updated Elite version of Ember Moon. Congrats on the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship victory. Back to me. And we're back for more of your weekly NXT Fix. Hour 2 kicks off. Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell looking on backstage, seeing Ember and Shotzi with the tag team titles, and they're just kind of shaking their heads saying, should have been us. Johnny says, you know what, that should have been you. But we've got more important business to talk about. Austin Theory runs in, he says, hey Johnny, did you pay off that therapist last week? And Johnny's like, yeah, I paid her, had to pay her for her services. You know, but what Dexter Lumis is saying about you is absolutely terrible. And Austin Theory's getting all fired up. Johnny says, you know what? Dexter Lumis even said you have a mediocre abdominal section. And Austin Theory goes, rah! Hulk Hogan rips the shirt off. He goes, I want Lumis next week. So I guess we got a match. Speaking of match, our next in-ring match was none other than Kayden Carter versus Xia Li. Xia Li featuring Mei Ying of Tian Sha. which in Chinese is God damn. Match was a little underwhelming. Kayden Carter got some good offense in. Xia Li then started to dominate. Casey Catanzaro at ringside hit Xia Li with the crutch, causing the DQ finish. I understand you want to keep this storyline going, potentially have a tag team match at TakeOver or some point in time down the road. Just a little disappointed with this match, to be honest. So, with that being said, bros, we're going to give this one a 6.7 on the bro ratings. Moving on, we have a little vignette of Jordan Devlin. That's right. If you watch the other guy on this channel, Blackpool, if you watch his UK videos, you will hear all about this Jordan Devlin guy, the self-proclaimed, still NXT Cruiserweight Champion. Well, Jordan Devlin says, you know what, I'm excited for WrestleMania season. I could use a change of scenery, and lucky for me and lucky for NXT, the real Cruiserweight Champion just had his travel ban lifted today. So I'm coming for Santos Escobar. And that's a major matchup. Big fan of Jordan Devlin. I think he and Santos Escobar would have a banger of a match. And we should unify this. Have one Cruiserweight Champion. NXT UK already has their championship and the Heritage Cup. They don't necessarily need the Cruiserweight Championship. Just leave it on regular NXT programming. Santos Escobar follows up, talking to his buddies backstage, and says, you know what, I'm the real champion, and who does Jordan Devlin think he is? He's talking to Regal and complaining about something. When his buddies Legado del Phantasma make their way to the ring. So that's Raul Mendoza, Joaquin Wilde, and they're up against Zach Gibson and James Drake of the Grizzled Young Veterans. Gibson on fire on the microphone, as always. Really think these two guys have a very bright upside. But this match was a little different than some of their normal matchups, which it was kind of short. Maybe it was a timing thing, but it was cut short. Weird music was playing, and then two guys in suits come out, and we're talking space suits on the entranceway, and it's breezango. Distracting Grizzled Young Veterans. Legado del Phantasma get the 1, 2, 3. They're your winners of the match, and take off their helmets, and it is not breezango. It is MSK, providing the distraction finish. Well, right behind Legado del Phantasma was none other than the real breezango in the ring. They took out Phantasma, then them and MSK did some like goofy put on their helmet thing, some goofy dancing. They were having a good time. If they do some sort of 8-man tag team match, breezango and MSK versus Legado del Phantasma and the Grizzled Young Veterans, sign me up for that. That would be good. This match tonight, a little short for my liking, and didn't really care much for this distraction finish. So, with that being said, bros, we're going to give this match a 7.1 on the bro ratings. Dakota and Raquel backstage saying, you know what, it doesn't matter if we're the champions for 5 minutes, 5 days, or 5 years because we were the first champions. Io Shirai pops in the picture and looks at Raquel Gonzalez and says, I want you next. Raquel said, you know what? Be careful what you wish for, chica. So that is most likely going to be your TakeOver Women's Championship match. And that's going to be awesome. Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher backstage. And Ciampa says, well, you know what? Since we're not with Imperium, we're obviously against them. So we want Imperium next week in a tag team match. And Ciampa's most interested in their general, who's hiding across the pond. That's who Ciampa wants. So Ciampa and Walter, sign me up for that. I think NXT would take everybody's money on that one. That would be a match to watch. And Ciampa says, you know what? Next week, we're going to show everybody It's going to be Toothless Timmy and Old Man Ciampa. Obviously, Ciampa is referring to him trying to grow his hair back, which comes in on the sides, but nothing on top. And let's face it, Ciampa's looking a little rugged right now. So Toothless Timmy, Old Man Ciampa next week on NXT. Leading up to your main event of the evening for the NXT Championship. We have your champion, none other than the Prince, Finn Balor. And the challenger, the greatest NXT champion in history, because he's the longest reigning NXT champion in history, 403 days to be exact, Adam Cole, baby. And as you can imagine, these guys put on a classic. Kicks left and right, Balor hitting his finishing moves, and a vicious crossface after a last shot to Balor's jaw. Balor gets out, hits Adam Cole with the coup de grace, because Adam Cole on the outside gets distracted by Kyle O'Reilly showing up in the crowd in the arena. Finn Balor gets the 1-2-3, retains the NXT Championship, and then afterwards, Kyle O'Reilly looking like a member of the Outsiders, and we're not talking about the NWO Outsiders, no. We're talking about Ponyboy Curtis. If you know, you know. We're talking about the film, the book, I think it was Matt Dillon and a whole bunch of very famous actors, the Outsiders. Kyle O'Reilly beat the crap out of Adam Cole, baby, who was pleading his case. Those guys brawled to the entrance ramp. O'Reilly's taking out Super Tan referee. Was craziness. Balor standing there in the ring holding his championship, kind of turns to the side like this, and he goes, "What took you so long?" And right behind him was Karrion Kross. So there you have it. Balor and Kross coming soon. Sign me up for that championship match. So with this championship match, your main event is going to get a 9.2 on the Bro rating. So that means your match of the night is the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Shotzi, Blackheart, and Ember Moon. Bravo for them to get the match of the night, just barely edging out Adam Cole versus Finn Balor and Io Shirai versus Toni Storm. What an NXT episode tonight. There are 3 major matchups that are must-see TV. So with that being said, we had 7 matches or in-ring segments, giving us an average of 8.07. That's like a takeover quality. Think of this as like a mini takeover special. NXT really delivered. And in 4 weeks, we will have a takeover, a 2-night takeover. Night 1 on Wednesday on USA. Night 2 exclusively on the new Peacock network where WWE is moving to. So now, let's not forget, it's prediction time. What? Next week, your NXT predictions are as follows. We will have Isaiah Swerve Scott defeat Leon Ruff. We will have the debut of L.A. Knight. He will defeat some jobber, or maybe Bronson Reed. I think they're going to save Bronson Reed for TakeOver, but he's going to win. Then Dexter Lumis will defeat Austin Theory. And Toothless Timmy, Old Man Ciampa will defeat Imperium in a tag team contest. So, starting next week, we're going to unveil some TakeOver predictions. But I think you know 2 main championship matches already. will be Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez, Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross, and let's not forget, we're going to see Adam Cole, baby, versus Kyle O'Reilly. So with that being said, bros, I'm your host, Jimmy the Gibson. Please like, share, subscribe, comment below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next for more of your weekly NXT Fix. Later, bros.